Welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Silla Tirupati. I will be talking about ports of west coast of India under the paper Economic History of India. The objective of this module is the ports of west coast India, their contracts with other countries, and how the ports disseminated Indian culture in the foreign land. And coming to the ports of west coast of India, you know that in the early historical ports there were a number of ports along the Gujarat coast, Maharashtra coast, and Goa, as well as the Karnataka and Kerala coast. Okay. Coming to the ports of Gujarat, there were a number of ports during early historical period, and among all those ports were referred by the periplus of Erythraean Sea and Pliny and Ptolemy. And from Gujarat, there are 32 sites where we have found Roman coins. That shows that the contacts of Romans with the ports of Gujarat, even periplus and Ptolemy, Pliny, they have referred like ports like Barikach, that is Bharuch, Navsari, Hatab, Porbandar, and Kamraj, Sajjan. Okay. Among other ports, see, Dwarka was an early historical port, and the excavations of Dwarka as well as Bet Dwarka is referred by periplus as Barake, and the excavations of Dwarka brought to light early historical period evidences. And during underwater explorations of Dwarka, we have found a number of stone anchors belonging to medieval period and late medieval period. However, the excavations of Bet Dwarka, we have found there is one early historical site where we have found early historical pottery, and during underwater excavations in Bet Dwarka, we have found Roman emperors and Latin gods. Those are evidences of Roman contacts with Bet Dwarka and in the surrounding areas. And the other site is called Miani, which is on the southern of our Dwarka, where during our underwater exploration we have found stone anchors, and these Miani and Kodinar and Mool Dwarka, Porbandar, these sites were providing shelters for the ships. When they were going into the creeks as well as to the other sites, they were sheltering, they were anchoring these at these sites, Miani, Porbandar, Kodinar and Mool Dwarka. And during explorations, we have found a number of stone anchors, and all these stone anchors are datable to medieval period and late medieval period. The other site is the other port of Gujarat coast is Bharuch. Bharuch has been referred in Mahabharata and Jataka stories. Periplus, Strabo, Ptolemy, Huangsang, Almasudi, all these travelers have mentioned of Bharuch, and Bharuch had trade contacts with Babylonia, Persian Gulf countries, African countries, Arabian countries, and Southeast Asian countries, including Sri Lanka. And the excavations of Bharuch has brought to the evidences of 6th century BC onwards, and during Mauryan period and Satavahana period, Bharuch was played an important role. And in 7th century AD, Arabs were invaded Bharuch as well as the adjoining areas to check the trade. To track the trade, and their objective was to control the trade with Arabian ports of Gujarat, ports of west coast of India with Arab countries. And there was naval battles between the rulers of Gujarat during that area. There was naval battles with the local rulers as well as the Arabs, and the Chalukyas of Badami also checked the intrusion of Arabs in Bharuch region. And ivory, textiles, long paper, all those things were exported from Bharuch, and brass, copper items, horses were imported to Bharuch port. Periplus, see, in the Periplus, that text contains 66 passages on India. Among them, 9 passages are related to Bharuch, and it gives its pilotage, how to come to the Bharuch port, location of Bharuch port, trade contacts, and tidal phenomena of that region. So the information from Periplus what we get on Bharuch port is very important, and it is important to know as the details from the Periplus and Bharuch port. During you can have a look at the screen. The river Narmada is flowing, and Bharuch was located on the port on the bank of river Narmada. There are mounds, and because of various regions, particularly because of siltation, probably the Bharuch port declined, and during our exploration we had found some archaeological findings, particularly pottery and all those things from Bharuch. And the other port is Ghoga. It lies on the Gulf, and it served as a port from 5th century AD onwards. And we have Arab information about Ghoga port from 7th century AD onwards, and the explorations of Ghoga brought to light a number of stone anchors and Islamic glazed pottery and pottery of Arabian countries, which is of early period also. Based on the comparative study of the pottery and other findings, we can say Ghoga was a port during 9th century AD. And as you can see on the screen, we have found different kinds of, during exploration, different kind of stone anchors has been found. That is Indo-Arabian type, composite type of stone anchors, and Islamic glazed wares. The other port of Gujarat was Kamrej on the bank of river Tapti. It served as a port from 1st century AD onwards. Periplus has referred to this port as Kamani, and the excavations of Kamaraj had brought to light evidences, that is the contacts with Red Sea coast from 5th to 7th century AD, and shell bangles, stone beads, glass beads, and different kind of pottery has been found from the excavations, and those were also manufactured at Kamaraj. And you can have a look to the location of Kamaraj. It is along the in the Gulf, very close to our Ghoga and Bharuch. And the other port of Gujarat coast was, okay, the findings of Kamaraj, you can see amphorae, copper coins, and shell bangles, shell artifacts, and pottery, and red polished ware. Those are the sprinkles. All these findings datable to early historical period. The other port of Gujarat was Sanjan. It was early medieval port situated on the bank of river Baroli, and it was a Zoroastrian settlement which has been from Zoroastrian settlement has been recorded at Sanjan, which is datable to 8th century AD to 13th century AD. The excavations of Sanjan has brought to light glazed pottery, coins, and glass bottles, as well as different type of glass and some precious stones. In addition to these findings, we have found some structural remains during the excavations of Sanjan. See, like other coastal provinces of India, in Gujarat we have number of Buddhist sites. So Buddhism has played a major role in the maritime trade of Gujarat with other countries. Coming to the ports of Maharashtra, there were a number of ports of early historical period and early medieval and medieval period, and along with these ports of Maharashtra, Buddhism has played a major role. For instance, Sopara. Sopara was the port of Satavahana period, and Sopara has been referred in the inscriptions of Nasik, Nanaghat and Karla and Kanheri inscriptions. There was a stupa which was known as Raja Ki Kila. It was excavated by ASI by Bhagavan Lal Indraji in 1882. Again the site was excavated by ASI in 1939 to 40. Then the excavation findings of Sopara, that is the ASI excavations of Sopara, their Satavahana period and evidences of stupa and miniature stupas has been found. In 93, Archaeological Survey of India along with British Academy of Hyderabad branch, where during the excavations of Sopara, they found Khetrapa coins, Satavahana coins. Those were made of lead and copper, semi-precious stone beads and NBP pottery, black and red ware, and some sorts of amphora pieces discovered during excavations in Sopara. And you can have a look at the screen where the relic cascades found in Elephanta. Those were there were some relics along with the miniature stupas, and that was the Sopara stupa. Presently, it is away from the mainland. The other port of Maharashtra was Kalyan, which is located very close to Sopara. 9 inscriptions of Kanheri caves refer to Kalyan as a port with different names, and during Satavahana rule, Kalyan was an important port, and it was also a trade center. And the merchants of Kalyan, they donated and they made a cave at Kanheri as well as Junnar. Okay, the merchants of Kalyan made caves at Junnar and Kanheri, and the goldsmiths donated a cistern to caves of Junnar and Kanheri. Periplus the Erythraean Sea refers Kalyan as a Kalina. Similarly, Cosmos Indicopoulos mentions Kalina as the main market of the west coast, where brass, textiles, black wood were exported from Kalyan. And Kalyan was an important port during Rashtrakuta period, and it declined with the with the arrival of Arabs, and even Arab travelers have not referred Kalyan as a port, whereas Arab travelers have referred Thana in their Arabs have referred Thane as a port instead of Kalyan. The other important port of Maharashtra was Gharapuri, that is Elephanta Island. It is 7 kilometers away from main Mumbai city, and the island is called Gharapuri, and there were 3 settlement areas in the Gharapuri island. Those were called Morabandar, Setbandar and Rajbandar. Morabandar and Setbandar were the ports of early historical period, and Rajbandar was the port during early historical, and Setbandar was the port during Portuguese period. The excavation findings of Morabandar and Rajbandar, as we have found a lot of Khetrapa period coins. During excavations of Rajbandar, a brick wharf found, and it shows that during Roman period, Rajbandar served as a port. In addition to that, I have an inscription of Pulokesin II has attacked to these islands, and they got it from the rulers of Gharapuri area, which was under the Konkan Mauryas. Secondly, and during Pulokesin II, Gharapuri became an important port, and after Chalukyas, this Elephanta island came under the control of Rashtrakutas. Subsequently, from it came to Yadavas, then the Muslim invaders occupied Elephanta, and at the last it came to under the control of Portuguese people, then the British and the Marathas. As I told you that a brick wharf has been found in Rajbandar, which is datable to 1st century to BC to 7th century AD. Amphora fragments have been found, red polished were found from Gharapuri as well as Morabandar. Khetrapa period coins found, and all these evidences suggest that the Gharapuri as well as port had contacts with the Roman world. You can have the look at the screen, the Khetrapa period coins as well as the brick structures and the brick wharf of Rajbandar. And as I told you, that we have found, the excavations has brought to light Red Sea coast amphoras. So this suggests that Elephant Island had contacts with Red Sea coast. The other port is Chaul. It is located on the river bank of Kundalika in Alibag Taluka of Raigad district of Maharashtra, and Chaul was an early historical port, and Periplus has referred to Chaul as a Simulya, whereas Ptolemy mentioned as a Simulya. Chaul had its interland contacts with Nasik and Junar, and the merchants of Chaul were carrying spices and textiles, and even today Chaul has served as a lighthouse because the archaeological remains and some Buddhist caves are found on the top hill, and from there, from those hillocks, you can see the sea. So probably because of these regions, it appears that Chaul has served in ancient times as a lighthouse. And during excavations at Chaul, Chinese ceramics and other pottery has been found. And in addition to Chaul, there are some other ports in Maharashtra coast, that was Vijayadurg and Sindhudurg. And Skop refers to Malabar as Arunavas, and Shivaji had constructed a coastal forts all along the Maharashtra coast to protect the to the kingdom, and Shivaji had constructed a fort at Malabar, which is called Sindhudurg Fort, and the fort is located in the small island, and the island is called Kurti, and in front of Sindhudurg Fort, in front of Sindhudurg Fort, Shivaji constructed another fort called Padamgarh, which served as a shipyard. During explorations at Sindhudurg and Padamgarh Fort, we found a number of stone anchors. Those are Indo-Arabian stone anchors, and for the first time we have noticed the reuse of stone anchors for different purposes in Maharashtra, and this evidence comes from Sindhudurg and Padamgarh. And that reuse is, they have used as platforms, and they have used as mooring beats, and at the entrance of the Padamgarh fort. And the other port is called Vijayadurg. It was an early historical port situated or located on the bank of river Bagatona, and Ptolemy, Periplus have referred to Vijayadurg port. And Vijayadurg served a port in different periods of history, but it came to limelight during the rule of Shivaji, and Shivaji made Vijayadurg as a naval base. And there were number of battles fought between Shivaji and the Britishers, and because of these naval battles, number of ships have wrecked there. And to locate those ships, we had carried out explorations. During our exploration in Vijayadurg, we have found an underwater structure, and along the bank of river Bhagatona, we found one dockyard. During underwater explorations of Vijayadurg as well as in the river Bhagatona, we have found slingshots and that underwater structure, and we have on the bank of river Bhagatona, we have found the dockyard. When we explored the dockyard, we got a number of stone anchors, and these anchors were used for mooring purposes, and in addition to these Indo-Arabian type of stone anchors, we have found another composite type of stone anchor, and if we will notice the composite type of stone anchor, this anchor is the last of its find along the west coast of India. Besides this anchor, we have not found any kind of these composite stone anchor after Vijayadurg. And similarly, the reuse of stone anchors, Indo-Arabian stone anchors, is also we got the evidences in the second fortification wall of Vijayadurg. And these slingshots we found in Vijayadurg fort as well as a few from during our underwater explorations in Bhagatona river. Coming to the ports of Goa, Chandor was the ancient port which was located on the river bank of Paroda. The river Paroda is the tributary of Juari. And Chandor served as a port from 2nd century BC onwards, and Satavahana coins, Satavahana bricks has been found there. And during Kadamba period, the port of Chandor, that means during Kadamba rule, port of Chandor was shifted to Gopakapattanam, and Jayakesi first of Kadamba period had a strong naval fleet at Gopakapatana, and he had appointed an Arab mariner as the Mahapradhan of his naval fleet. During explorations of Gopakapatana, nearby area of Pillar Tank, Roman coins and Satavahana coins has been found, and in addition to that, during Shilahara period and Kadamba period, the port of Gopakapatana had contacts with West Asia and African countries, and after the decline of Gopakapattanam, the maritime activities of Goa shifted to Old Goa, and during Portuguese period, Old Goa served as the capital and main harbour and port of during Portuguese rule, and from ports of Old Goa, there was trade contacts with Arab and African countries, Southeast Asian countries, even to Maldives. And you can have a look at the screen that the location of Chandor and Old Goa, and there was a road connecting from Gopakapattanam to Old Goa. The explorations of Chandor, during our explorations of Gopakapattanam, we have found number of stone structures, and the local people suggest these are the remains of Chandor port. These are the remains of during our exploration, we have found a number of stone structures, and the local people informed us that these are the port remains of Gopakapatana. But so far we have not found any archaeological evidence which can suggest and which can provide the date of these stone structures. But during explorations at Gopakapatana, number of coins, Chinese ceramic shards, and coins of other dynasties, and pottery of West Asia, and some other pottery of historical and late medieval period has been found from Gopakapattanam area. And coming to the ports of Karnataka, the periplus of the Eurasian she has referred to the ports of Karnataka, such as those were Malape and Nitra, that is Mangalore, and other ports. The finding of gold coins of Augustus and Roman empires from ports of Karnataka suggest that ports of Karnataka had contacts with the Roman Empire. And silver coins, I mean a hoard of silver coin belonging to Augustus and Tiberius has found from Bangalore and Chandravali area, and and similarly the Roman gold coins found in Chandravali and Bangalore, which suggest that the coastal region of Karnataka had contacts with the interior part, and Romans had contact in these region, and the coastal explorations of Halsi, Haigunda, Banavasi, Honavar has brought to light early historical period and brick structures which suggest maritime activities in this region. Udyavara was early capital of Alupas in 7th century AD. Then it came under the control of Vijayanagaram rulers. So Udyavara served as a port during 7th century AD. Similarly, the other port is Barkur, very close to Udupi, and where black and red bear pottery of early historical period has been found. The other early historical ports and sites of Karnataka were Barkur, Udyavara, and Hunsi, Banavasi, and there was a trade contact between Ghat section and the coastal region during early centuries of Christian era, which continued in later period. Honavara is another port of Karnataka which has been referred by Abdul Fida, and he has referred to as Honnur. Even Ibn Battuta has mentioned Honavara as Onur, and Ibn Battuta has stated ships from Persian Gulf countries was coming frequently visiting to the ports of Honavar. And during Vijayanagaram period, Bhatkal developed as a port, and Vijayanagar rulers were bringing horses from Persian Gulf countries to Bhatkal port. Then they were taking to the Hampi and other regions, other parts of Vijayanagar Empire from Bhatkal port. And similarly, the other port was Basrur. It was located on the southern bank of river Ganguli, and Arab travelers have referred to Basrur in different names. And similarly, Malpe was a port, and in Malpe there are 3 islands. Those are called Darya Bahadurgarh, Darya Gadar Kallu, and Karikallu. These were served as safe anchorages for the vessels. So, since Malpe has been referred by Ptolemy, it is considered that Malpe was a port during early historical period. Now, we will see the findings and the maritime activities of ports of Kerala coast. Kerala coast, there were a number of ports of early historical period, and Sangam period literature, which is datable to 3rd century BC to 3rd century AD. There is a reference of Mujris, and which was a important port of, west coast of India, as well as Kerala coast. And the Sangam literature mentions ships of Yavana countries were bringing gold and other items. They were coming to Mujuris, and they were returning with paper of this region. And the excavations of Mujuris, that is Patnam, because there are number of theories about the location of Muziris and Pattanam. Some of the scholars have identified Pattanam as Muziris, but the excavations of Pattanam has brought to light various artifacts of belonging to Roman period and belonging to Roman Empire and Persian Gulf countries, as well as other parts of the Southeast Asia and Persian Gulf countries. And among the findings of Pattanam, we can see the pottery, Roman amphoras and beads. And the interesting finding of Pattanam is a canoe dugout, and it is in situ is there. It has been studied, and it is the canoe is datable to early historical period. Okay. In addition to that, number of brick structures has been excavated and found at Pattanam site. The other port of Kerala is called Vizhinjam, and it is presently it is a fishing helmet located 17 kilometers of Trivandrum, and the exploration excavations of Vizhinjam last couple of years has found number of artifacts which gives the maritime context of Vizhinjam with other parts of the world, particularly Red Sea coast. Vizhinjam port has been referred by Periplus. Probably the present day Vizhinjam could be identified as Balita of Periplus, because Periplus mentioned the Balita port on the northern side of Kanyakumari. Okay. The other port of Kerala is called Nelkandi, and this was the port of the Pandyans and referred by Periplus. But it is presumed that Vizhinjam may be the same as Blinica coastal town on the north of Kumari, as mentioned even in the Pettinger tablets. During early historical period, Vizhinjam served as a port, and it was a port of the Pandyan kingdom. The exploration and excavations findings of Vizhinjam shows that number of semi-precious stone beads, brick structures, pottery, even related ware has been found during excavations of Vizhinjam. Coming to Kollam, which served as a port in later period, that is early medieval to modern period, and during Kollam was a port, it has been the Chinese settlement was there. In recent past, local authorities started developing Kollam as a regular port, and they were doing dredging at Kollam. They found number of Chinese coins and amphoras and Chinese pottery, and based on that information, we had carried out underwater exploration at Kollam. During our underwater explorations at Kollam, we found one ring stone type of stone anchor, and you can see on the screen. And as I told you that during dredging, number of Chinese coins, Chinese ceramics, and literary sources mentions Kollam as a port during different periods of history, and Kollam has been referred as a Koulamali, Koulim, Kulian, all in different names. The earliest reference to Kollam comes from a Syrian copper plate issued by a chieftain called Ayana who granted this special privilege to the Christian merchants at Kollam during early centuries of during 9th century. And the Chinese sources, Arab records, as well as European records mentions Kollam as a port, and from the findings it shows that Kollam served as a port in early medieval period to up to the European period. And in summary, we can say the ports of west coast of India played a major role, and the ports had trade contracts with Persian Gulf countries, Red Sea coast, and African countries as well as European countries. And based on these studies, we can say that after the decline of one port, another port has come to light, and it is not that the port of one part of west coast, it is the ports in toto, all the ports of west coast of India providing good information on the maritime contacts of India with other parts of the world. For further information, you can visit EPG Pathshala. You can refer those information for your references. Thank you.